Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. From the deepest jungles to the outmost reaches of space and beyond the veils of death itself, the Bald and Bonkers Boys are back for another episode. It's no secret that you won't know what will happen next, but Dakota Franson and Chris Moore promise that all bets are off. Viewer discretion and straitjackets advised. These two idiots live up to the name.
And if you're here, subscribe to our TikTok channel, you could have heard some of the pre-show context.
It was a joke.
That
It was a joke. It was Jenny that did it to me.
You talk about your girlfriend like that.
Jenny told me I got me to do a thing on a voice message for her when she was out for dinner. And I said it a few times to her, and then I clicked it. It clicked, and I'm not going into it. I'm not going into it. Honestly, Jenny. I was trying to get Dakota to say it and didn't realise it was live at the start. Do you know, it never buffered for me tonight. It worked out perfectly.
Yeah, hopefully Streamlabs fixed up whatever was wrong on their end.
Well, I must admit, Streamlabs is better than StreamYard, because StreamYard's all shit.
Yeah, StreamYard's definitely went downhill. But anyway, I will say this, since you brought it up, that how dirty your girlfriend actually is. Happy late birthday, Jenny.
Happy birthday! I was telling them the joke about the fruit that you were getting me to say.
Yeah. What kind of fruit?
What
kind of fruit, Christopher?
The ones that you make Ribena with, you know.
What was it?
I can't say it because I can't pronounce it right. And I always comes out at the exact same thing. I'm not wanting to be chased through the street with mobs of people and burning torches just because I can't pronounce it. Yeah, write it in the chat for everybody. Write it in the chat for everybody. I don't want to offend any people out there.
Oh, yeah, fucking right. I know that's full of shit.
Well, there you go. You know what I mean? You know, we'll need to send that one to Dots to see if he'll say it for us, you know? Yeah.
Well, people can actually understand Dots.
Hey, the new. How is that? I mean, he's Irish, right? And he's like, "Good morning to you there. I'm sitting here drinking my tea and looking at my Lucky Charms." I can think, right?
It's not as strong, though.
Well, you saying my accent's stronger than Dots?
Yeah, I could understand Dots right away. It took 3 months. When we first met, it took me about 3 months to figure out what the hell you were saying.
Hey, Captain, we can't take no more. The reactor core's going to overheat. There he goes. Star Trek.
Wow.
What? At least it's not that thing that you tell me to say about the black thing. That's terrible.
And you're the one that was preaching it. I mean, you do realize TikTok records all the lives.
I didn't get it was on.
There's archives to prove this. There's archives.
Well, it's only a jape. I can't pronounce certain words. It's a problem that I've got.
Yeah, no, you Scottish can't really deal with English well, can you?
That's very true. But we did invent everything. You know, where would you be without Scotland? We invented the telephone. We invented the steam engine. We invented many things. People would.
Where would we be without Scotland? Sober.
How would we want to tell you this? Whiskey time.
Oh,
so,
God.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is another Bald and Bonkers episode. What are we talking about tonight, Dakota? What strange things lurk in the darkness?
Well, because of the little shadow incident last week, I got to thinking, no, we normally had some hesitation in doing this particular type of show because we usually take the audio recordings and move it on to Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of those. But I think with everything going on in the world, we need to practice a little bit more discernment about things that are happening, especially, just as an example, the mummies showdown in Mexico.
Oh, God. So what's your opinion?
Honestly, no, I'll prelude this by saying there's been several things that have been claimed to have been faked over the years that they're now saying are real. So maybe this is one of those cases. But those got debunked years ago.
I know. They look a bit fake. And I'm going to say this, they look too good to be true.
I mean, if they're legitimate finds, awesome. Okay, who are they? Where did they come from? But there's been several people who have examined those mummies, ran DNA tests, and found that they were, if I remember off the top of my head, there was some human DNA found, but as well as fish and dog. This is just off the top of my head on how the structure was actually made in the first place. You know, someone we've actually had on the show, Barry Fitzgerald, he was involved in those DNA tests. And he's like, what the fuck is going down in Mexico?
I think they're just trying to join the bandwagon. They're probably hoping that, what's the word I'm looking for? All the UFO people go there and help the tourist industry kind of thing. That's what they're hoping for, to be purely honest with you. I don't think they're real. I think they're fake. They're fake.
Yeah.
You know? Well, actually, get somebody in the chat there, the Scottish Outlook, and he sent me a video. What's your opinion on that? That's crazy, guys, honestly.
That was an interesting little video. We're going to get to that. And Dots is also mentioning that shadow that popped up. It was odd, and my reaction probably sold people on the idea that maybe it was something legit. But the more I looked into it, I even ran it through an AI enhancement software. I'm convinced I may have duped myself.
It was a fly.
I'm convinced. Well, shall we play the clip?
Play the clip.
So we can. All right. We'll see if we can get it to bring up for us. Do. See if it will actually work for me. Why is it the one that is actually good with computers the one that always has issues?
Right. The Galilians don't want you to show it.
I know. And
the
number of... I'm bringing it up. Hold on. Un momento, por favor. Come on.
Meanwhile,
work, damn you! I mean, even your girlfriend was tickled by it.
I will admit, Jenny was. She thought it was very interesting. Here we go.
Yeah,
watched it since
okay,
passed.
here we go.
Because I find it quite hard to watch this stuff since it passed. But guys, honestly, you want to check out Mike's channel, right? Mike's channel was just amazing, right? The stories, the knowledge, everything there. It's in the chat, guys.
You know, I'll be honest. I'm convinced it may have been a fly. Because I was swinging at one earlier in the show, but
everything there. It's in the chat, guys.
What the fuck? And look how the AI enhanced my eyes.
What's that growling? I can hear.
Yeah, no, somebody else made a note of it. I only thought
I can hear something growling.
Okay, at first I thought it was just how the sound was processed when I slowed it down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Here, we'll bounce it back a little bit. Just before the slowdown starts.
Amazing, right? The stories, the
Quite
knowledge.
weird
that happened.
guys. What the fuck? You can even look at the end here where it's partially translucent, right where the fly's wings would have been.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's been some people that say if that was a fly, it was the size of Jeff Goldblum. If it was Jeff Goldblum, this would be a very different conversation.
Yeah, that is the voice sound.
Yeah. Someone on Instagram was wondering about that. It's like, I think that's just the sound being effective.
That is some
when
face
it's
shape.
slowed down.
That is some face you've just pulled there.
I know, right? Almost gives me a Pixar look.
I mean, do you not find it strange when we were talking about Mike at the time that, and you ken that he was, I'm not saying it's paranormal, but you know, a few times when we've been talking about Mike, these strange things have happened.
Even after the man died, strange shit kept happening. I mean, hell, look what happened when we first met him. All those weird voices that were coming through.
Mm-hmm.
That's too bad. That
You sounded like a Cylon.
Yeah, he was sounding like a Cylon. He had weird static coming through that honestly sounded like the beginning of an alien invasion movie.
Yep. Mike, if you can hear this transmission, could you please try and do it again tonight for Dakota? Save him coming across the Atlantic, you know.
Right. But here's another thing you got to consider. It's where I live.
Mm-hmm.
It's September. It's harvest. You should see the bugs covering the side of my house when I'm trying to just get in, coming home from work in the mornings.
Mm-hmm. My opinion is this. I think it's very odd, right? It's definitely very, very, very odd, and I don't think we're ever going to know if it's real or it's a fly or it's a ghost or it's something out of this world. I don't think we're ever going to know that, but it could have been a little flyer, like a little moth that's climbed onto the screen, or it's flew past the screen. But what I thought was quite funny is where your door is, where the light switch is. I did see like something going out there, like a light orb. And I ken there's folk that don't like believe in orbs and stuff like that, but ken something I don't give a fuck. I believe in orbs, right? So there's, yes, you get dust and stuff like that, but this had colour to it and it had motion, how it was moving, and it went straight out the door just at round about the same time as it happened.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the quality of the capture when I tried to screen record it wasn't all the best, so try to look for it.
Yeah. I'll go back and see if I can find it. I'll watch it on my iPad and then take a screenshot when I think I see it.
But unfortunately, that's the thing, though. We have to acknowledge when it comes to this type of research, there's going to be times where we're going to get disappointed by it being something normal.
Of course it is. I mean, look at the people that go out and look for aliens and UFOs, and they'll be like, "Oh, look, it's ET," but it's a satellite, right? Or, "Oh, look, it's aliens, it's a balloon." Okay, I mean, it's going to happen. Okay, I mean,
yeah. And honestly, it honestly feels like to me that disclosure is slowly becoming a new age religion, and people aren't using the right discernment and only prepping themselves to get really screwed over.
I mean, we had NASA the other day talking about it, our little alien friends, which I've not watched yet. I've not had a chance to watch it yet, but I don't think it'll be long before everything's out in the open. But I was shocked when it first came out about disclosure and stuff like that, and that hearing, the Senate hearing, and nobody really blinked an eyelid. I thought there was going to be people like committing suicide and throwing themselves out windows and mass cults and all that kind of stuff, and it didn't really do anything. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. You know, I was talking with someone last night and we were kind of getting into the subject a bit. We're living in times where a new, potentially end of the world scenario is being tossed into the public.
Yeah.
Weekly basis.
Yeah.
New viruses, alien invasion, war. And let's face it, shit is happening. And right now, everybody with inflation, people are just trying to figure out how the hell they're going to make it to the next paycheck.
I will say this. I do think something's going to happen soon on a grand scale. I don't know if it's going to be war with China. There's talk in the street with China invading Taiwan. But to be honest with you, this is the time of year when they do their training and their exercises and stuff like that. And there was one guy filmed the trains or the tanks, and he says, "Oh, look at the Chinese! They're moving the tanks. The Chinese are moving the tanks." I went and researched that. They weren't the Chinese tanks. They were actually American Abrams going to get serviced in America, right? So, what do you believe? There's so much fear porn out there, and you've got to remember too. There's a lot of big channels out there that make a lot of money out of fear porn. Oh, there's got to be a nuclear war. That's it. Get ready. Get ready. And they've got 500,000-600,000 views. And then the next day they'll put another one out. There's got to be a nuclear war. Please buy my book. And then the next day they'll do it. And they'll just do that for like years on end.
And people keep falling for it.
And people keep falling for it. Because I'm sorry to say this, there's people out there that are complete and utter idiots.
And that's the other thing. The so-called enlightened bunches, it almost feels like they've let themselves feel like they're some sort of elite because they're allegedly awake to everything that's going on. And they're completely abandoning everybody else.
Yeah. There's
a total disconnect with the purpose of humanity itself.
Yeah.
And if it was just, debating over, oh, look at that random light in the sky, I think that might be a UFO. That's one thing. But this is also extending to situations where people are losing their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen that clip going around, especially on TikTok, saying it's out of Morocco just before the earthquake?
Is that the one with the strange lights in the sky?
Where it looks like there's something rotating in the sky, and there's bright flashes of light, and it sounds like the freaking tripods out of War of the Worlds charging up.
No.
And they're trying to say it's out of Morocco, but the text is blocking like half the video. I'm sorry, I'm not convinced that one's real.
No. There's a lot of which I've noticed that there's a lot of fake UFO stuff out there where you can clearly see it's fake, but there's so many people just believe it.
I know.
And it's like I watch Elena's stuff in that, and she's the real deal, guys. See Elena, she is the real deal. And you get people on TikTok saying and it really annoys me. And they're like, well, if the Greys want you to donate money to me because I am the chosen one. The Greys want you. I mean, these are people. They're just making stuff up. They're just making it up. They're sitting there making it all up. And then there's people like actually Elena that's actually doing a good job in things. And you know what I mean? It gives other people bad names, though. You know what I mean?
It does.
It does.
And it gets ridiculous that people on all sides are falling for the drama.
Yeah.
We're falling into the very trap of us versus them.
Yeah.
Try to slap the deep state claims. Maybe it is. That would be a typical move on their part. But you're still erasing the fact that these are still human beings at the end of the day. Yeah. Who are just as much victims if this was some sort of attack.
Yeah. Be good to remember there's a lot of people in this UFO community and paranormal community that's no in this to discover if there's life after death or there's extraterrestrials. They're in this to become famous and rich. That's what they care about, is dollars, tableau, money. That's what they care about. And for those people that want to become famous and all that, some of them I actually respect, some of them I know, and they're really good at what they do. But then there's people out there that try to do it just because they want money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
Oh, is this a Scottish Outlookers video?
I believe so.
Right, guys, it was 3 seconds long, but I taken it to 13 seconds long. I made it 13. As you can see, you see 2 dots. See them?
Yeah.
But if you change the color and the contrast, oh my goodness.
Hey, you just made it. Looped it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's so I could do it. I couldn't stretch it out anymore. Mm-hmm. But the other one zoomed in. The one with the contrast has been zoomed in, which you'll see better.
Oh, let's bring that one up. Oh shit.
Nope.
Oh fuck! I took down the one we were supposed to watch. Damn it!
No.
Oh god damn it!
He's playing too much with the buttons, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. The bear this in mind, all Scottish Outlook I could see was 2 dots. But when I changed the colour and the heat, the contrast, there's 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what intrigues me. You know what? Well,
I mean,
honestly,
there'll be people out there that.
What's that?
But there'll be people out there. But there'll be people out there that and they'll be like, "Oh, that's Starlink." Right? Let me get this straight. It's a clear sky night. Only 2 of them are showing, but when you change the contrast, 4 of them show. Starlink would show all of them up. They wouldn't have cloaking abilities just for 2. Get what I mean?
If it
There's
was
something there.
Starlink,
There's some.
if it was Starlink, it would all be all a straight line.
Of course, it would be.
No.
And the question is that triangle or is that what you call it a rectangle?
Let's try to pause it and see where we see all 4. I mean, goes to the question: is that just one craft, or is that multiple, or were the 2 that Scottish Outlooker could see the main ones, and somehow these other 2 that got brought out in editing, was that some sort of weird reflection from the original? I don't know what I mean.
I don't think it's one ship. I think it's 4 ships. He said when he started videoing that they disappeared instantly, right?
Usually how it goes.
So did they know whoever they are knows that we're getting filmed? Maybe they didn't realize that the other 2 orbs or whatever they are were showing. I mean, even when they disappear, you can still see clearly where they are. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Which is quite interesting.
It is. And when did you say that he took this?
That was let me check.
I was about to say this was within the last week, wasn't it?
Aye, it wasn't long. Yeah. Right for them first. I've got that many bloody friends on here. Yeah.
Well, you're more the social butterfly than I am.
Oh man, so let's see. Let's have a look. Let's see. But I'm asking about time. Right, it's just vanished. Right, this is what it says. It just vanished, but had watched it travel a good 20 seconds before I got the phone out to catch it on camera, mate. Just happened to look up and see it traveling over. It was around 9 o'clock there. So when was that? He sent me that.
Yeah, he said it was during
That was
the week,
Monday.
Monday night.
Yeah, it was Monday.
He's writing in the chat.
Right. So. I mean, I seen one the other night. I seen one, and it would be last Friday night, Friday or Thursday night. And I was out with the dog. It must have been about, I don't know, 10:30 at night. 10:30 at night. And it was a beautiful clear sky. You could see the Milky Way and stuff. And I was watching it. And I actually thought it was an International Space Station, but it was too bright and it was too low down. But it was in space. It was in space, the way it was moving. And it just stopped. And it just sat there and it sat there and it sat there. And then it just went the opposite way and disappeared.
Mm. Yeah, you were telling me about that one.
Yeah, but I didn't have my phone on me. Sometimes I like to go just for relax and walk. Yeah. One ship coming in and out of 3D or 4D or 5.
Possibly. Honestly, you want to know what I kind of think of with this kind of explanation, and maybe it'll help, some of the quote unquote normies understand who don't really get this type of thing. If these beings are coming from higher densities, higher dimensions, whatever label you want to use, what if it, like I said, what if those other 2 were some sort of weird reflection from a multi-dimensional level, just kind of peeking in, Kind of like the mirror dimension out of Doctor Strange, like kind of.
Mm-hmm.
That's the closest thing I can think of pop culture wise.
That's not the first time that's happened. Though. Where he stays in a little village called Lismahago, which is about 3 or 4 miles down the road from me, round about that. But that's where Drew is. I don't know if she's in the chat or no. For some reason, I can't see her anywhere.
I was about to say someone was looking like they were talking to her, but
if you're there, Drew, I can't see you. It's the usual. It keeps happening. She remember her telling us last year, the year before, about how her man had seen a weird looking craft behind the house. Yeah,
that was roughly
I've seen quite.
after we started this.
So there's no that many things near me that would be interesting for extraterrestrials. I've got a distillery where all the whiskey's kept. I don't know if there's whiskey connoisseur, I don't know. I've got wind farms, right, big turbines. But I do have behind me, about maybe 7 miles from me, I have the early warning radar station.
Mm-hmm.
A big military, it's up in the hill, and it's a big military, and it's to do with radar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite interesting because I know that radar does play a part in the UFO community and stuff like that, because it can cause things to go wrong for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know. See, remember, I showed you that video. Remember that Lewis analysed for me, and there was the craft that I could see over the windmills.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See that craft? You see where that craft was? That's where Scottish Outlooker stays. It's the exact same spot, and if you notice, it was kind of triangular. So it was where he stays at Lismahago. I could watch it. I could actually see it, the ship floating over it, which is interesting. And that's where Juna's husband seen UFOs too. So it makes you wonder: is there something there that they're interested in?
Maybe, I don't know.
Right, they're coming for you, Scottish Outlooker. They're going to take you away tonight. Lock those doors.
Maybe
Won't help you anyway.
I don't know. Maybe that's going to be the one thing that keeps you from getting flooded when the Russians launch their missiles.
Mm.
Oh, did I say that? Oh, I wasn't supposed to reveal that plan. Sorry, Vladimir.
No, boom. It'll be all over. It's like gravitational. I've been away for 10 years. What's armed?
And we didn't miss you one bit.
I know, terrible. I don't know. Honestly, my village in Scottish Outlookers village, I don't know why the aliens would have ours fascination with that. Good God, Scottish Outlooker, can you imagine if they landed? The locals would probably just walk past them and say nothing.
Who says they would notice in the first place?
That's very true. There he's in the chat. What's that? Ho, I could be doing with a little trip. There you go, man.
There you go.
You can get up to the. You better watch what you're asking for. You'll get up there and you'll be lying on the table, and a guy will come out with a big probe in his on.
Yeah. And just to make you feel more comfortable, he'll make himself look like Chris.
Yes. We'll say, don't worry, it won't hurt. Not a big pulse and spark coming at the end of it.
It's okay. You know that you do realize there is actually, scientific backing for probing, right?
See, right. I meant to ask Elena this the last time she was. Come on, tell us what is with that?
Why would you do that to Elena? Come on.
Because if I just wanted to ask her that, I kind of don't want to embarrass her in any way. She's probably watching this back of that. You know, Elena, why do they probe you? What is that all about? Is it like a fetish they've got or something? Why do they do that? Come on, Dakota. Did your wife do probing? Did your wife probe?
Dude, first off, she don't need to. One.
Mm-hmm.
You do realize it's almost an infertility treatment. They can actually stick things up the rear end in order to stimulate things in order to help breeding of animals.
It
can be done on humans too, but
Aye, but you hear like forestry workers that are in their cabin at night, you know, and it's like 10 o'clock at night and there's a bright light, and then they wake up the next day and they've got a terrible sore bum.
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible.
And their
The big hairy
constipation
man.
went away.
Aye, and the big hairy man had a bald head and it had a company logo. It was weird. It was with his wife and his kids and all that. They were all stoning him with the probes in their hand. It was bloody terrifying. I'm not going back to that cabin again.
That brings a whole new meaning to Brokeback Mountain. God.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So there you go, Scottish Outlooker, when you're out walking the hills, because he does, he goes out walking in the hills. Just prepare yourself. You might get took. And they'll be
Out of
waiting.
curiosity, Chris.
What?
Have you ever tried looking into ley lines in your region?
There's one runs right past my house.
How many of them line up at Las Vegas?
That's actually a good point. About 2, 3, or maybe 4. Run about that.
I was just trying to look up a map of ley lines I've used for some of our international incidents.
I've got one of the, is it, no, National Geographic, what do you call it? It's a terrain thing. Tells you the mountains, the height of the mountains and stuff.
Hey.
You know, but it's actually quite interesting how you're more likely to see a UFO if you live out in the sticks. Whereas you think they'd be more interested with city life. Can't I mean? Maybe they can't go into certain cities because of the low emission zones now, because it's getting ridiculous now. You can't drive your motor anywhere. But it's
like,
I just don't know.
There's supposed to be zero emissions, but what if it's a situation where the way their craft moves, from the gravitational lensing and how their propulsions work, what if they were to try to manifest in a bigger city, but they carry the pollution with them? They take that back to wherever they're from. They end up releasing this deadly toxin and kill off a bunch of their guys.
It makes you wonder how many UFOs, I mean alien UFOs, are above us, just floating about.
I know.
Watching us.
Listening to this transmission,
thinking to themselves, oh, there's a guy in the chat called Scottish Outlooker. He's seen us the other night. We'll have to go back and see him. Let's go back on Sunday night and get him. You'll be looking up all the doors and stuff like that, shutting the curtains. And we're running out the house.
That's not like that's doing ain't good. There's fuck, I need to start figuring out how to get my security cameras up and running so I can try to catch when they go to visit me.
Is there any way you can stop them from coming into your house? There must be a way to stop them.
There are ways you can use warning and shit like that, yes.
Aye, but
or at least filter who comes through.
Aye. So instead of a beautiful woman with holding a probe, but a big hairy guy.
Scottish Outlooker, I kind of wish they would fly over Russia and China and disable all the nukes.
How'd you
there's been plenty of flyovers. So there's already been flyovers. What are you talking about?
See, that's the thing, Scottish Outlooker. How do you know that they're not already did that? Because there's a lot of UFO sightings in Ukraine now. How do you not know that the weapons of mass destructions have maybe been fired, but maybe they've not went off? You don't know these things. So what other evidence do we have? What about other strange events around the world, Dakota?
Oh, I don't know, man. There's too much going on, man. It's hard to keep up.
I will say this, TikTok is fully utter shit. There is some of it that's interesting, but it really is quite intense, the amount of utter rubbish that's on there. I mean,
yeah.
And
the
YouTube
number of people
similar.
who try to capitalize whenever there's a major disaster.
Yep. It's what was that there? I seen a weird line going across my screen there. That was weird. But look, I do think something's about to happen. I don't think it's. I think it's got to be worse than 9/11. I'm going to say that now. What is with the 23rd of this month?
I keep hearing that, but nobody is actually fucking saying what it's supposed to be. So if anybody in the chat knows, please share. Enlighten us.
We've got all the kind of Bible bashers going, it's the rapture. We're doomed. They're coming to take us all. Repent, repent. There was one guy on TikTok the other night, and he was like, "It's the rapture. It's the rapture. Buy my book now. It's the rapture." Why you not giving away your book if the rapture's coming?
I was about to say, at this point, with delivery, you're not going to be able to see your book until it's too late.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's what all these kind of prepping channels are. They're all like, buy my book now. How's that book going to save your life? I mean, the autobiography of somebody that's built a nuclear bunker, how's that going to save you? You know?
Exactly. I mean, maybe you can. I mean, it's Saturday. Yeah, that's right.
Dodge, have you been drinking something in your tea? Have you lost time?
Well,
What's a
no,
Saturday?
it's a Saturday. The 23rd. It's a Saturday, so
Coming
we could
to
air
get you.
something live.
They're coming to get you.
And that's when Dots finds out that he is actually a lost Bruce Springsteen clone.
Yep. That's you, Dots. They're going to, what you got to do, Dots, if you get taken back to your home world and they don't have tea? That's got to be
He remembers
disastrous.
how to make it.
But what happens if they don't have it?
Well, tea is just simply made from plants, and I'm sure their worlds have different
Plants?
sorts
No,
of
it's leaves for the tea bush that's dried in the sun.
It's like, we're getting them panic attacks. Poor Dots.
Don't you worry, Dots. Don't you worry, Dots. You'll be in a distant, distant galaxy far, far away with no tea bags.
You're just really obsessed with teabagging, aren't you?
Well, you just think of it in this sense. Your Scottish Outlooker will fly past you in another ship and you'll see an alien holding a big shiny thing.
Oh, God.
This Scottish Outlooker here, but buy my book. It's called How to Avoid Being Anal Probed When Walking in the Mountains. I'll tell you something new, by the way. We've got a company, Dakota's got a company where he does books. If you want to write a book, you could actually do something like that.
It's like, yeah, we can release it through Bald and Bonkers.
How not to be probed. How not to be probed.
We have a book out dedicated to Chris called Macro Energy Micro Penis. I'm dead serious. It's out on Amazon right now.
Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt. He's just trying to get me.
I think Jenny actually ordered you a copy.
You're kidding me. Did she?
It's too bad she's not
Jenny,
Jenny,
you're going to get Dakota. That's it. She's going to get you. You know that.
You're a little drag queen.
And there's nothing wrong with dressing as a woman once in a while. You used to do it all the time. Mind the times you went on the lives dressed as a woman.
Oh God, you're talking about the drag show bet.
He did, ladies and gentlemen. He went on there, showed.
We never actually went through with that. Remember?
No, there was one show you went on and you were dressed as a woman.
Okay, yeah, I had.
You had a scarf in your head and you were like, ooh.
Yeah, I had a towel on my head. Made it look like I just got out of the shower because I said I would do it. I had to go. I actually had to go to work right after that.
What's that? Scottish Outlooker? Ha ha ha! Take my money. Don't see that name won't stand up in court. You know
what? The micro penis? I'm lost.
Honestly, I don't know where the show's just gone. We're meant to be talking about bloody UFO stuff.
Where's the evidence you're supposed to be bringing?
I don't have any evidence because I thought you were uploading all the videos and stuff like that. But there's loads of locations. We could talk about. Right, let's talk about Rendlesham Forest. What do you think happened there? Do you think that did they touch a UFO? Did the UFO turn off all the devices, or was it just all made up?
I think that Rendlesham was a legitimate incident.
But I always wondered when the men touched it, they get like 101010 downloaded in their head. Why would they do that? Because it would take forever to figure out.
Here's the thing.
A couple of guys.
There's different forms of binary too.
Oh. There's the man himself. You'll need to buy I'm going to
God's
send you a copy, Pete. I think you'll be into that kind of stuff.
what? Pete's in here?
Hi, son of the naked. Did I just hear a micro penis? It'll pop up in
Yes,
a minute.
yes, Pete. We actually have a book out for the release through Bald and Bonkers called Macro Energy, Micro Penis. It's a men's self-help book to help you
Yes.
live your best life in spite of shortcomings.
Yes.
And
So,
no, I'm not joking. This is an actual book that we
Pete.
have released.
So, Pete, I know you're watching this, Pete. So, if you need help in this room, in this situation, Dakota, how much is the book? Is it free?
No,
He
it's
needs
not
help.
free.
You better watch. She'll be doing like a weird voodoo dance and all that. And you'll wake up with a shrunken head tomorrow.
I could use it. My t-shirts would feel better.
Why is it not popping up in the chat, but I can see it on YouTube?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know. Here.
You know? So, Pete, are you buying the book? Micro penis?
Hold on. I'm getting the link off of Amazon, so you can all go check it out.
Scottish Outlander.
It's supposed to be a paperback.
Dots
There's
MC.
supposed
I
to
know
be
you're
a
into that kind of
paperback.
thing. Dots MC. I know
There's
that
supposed
you're into that kind of thing. I'm going to click on that.
Something's wrong with the paperback, so it's taking a little. Oh, see, now I'm starting to see them. Oh God, South Park, really?
What's that? In the immortal worlds of butterscotch.
Waiters out.
That's a book for you. Need that book, Pete. You need to get that book. I think you'd be awesome. I think that'd be awesome. Get the book.
And yes, Pete. It is dedicated to Chris.
Pete, I know that Pete practices voodoo, but could you do like a weird spell and turn them into one of the Beetlejuice? That's the thing I was wanting to ask your dad if that was true or no. Kind of you like shrinking heads you get in the jungles. The people who get their heads shrunk.
Legit. That was legit practice.
You're ground dead, Butters. The wonders of butter. Honestly, sometimes I really do wonder. See, this is the we're talking about serious. We should have come on here to talk about weird things that's happened. I mean, you think the other weird things that's happened on here, especially with Mike. I mean, the amount of things we're getting near to Halloween, which was Mike's kind of favorite time. Halloween. You imagine the problems we had when Mike would come on the show.
I don't know who was worse, Mike or Elena.
Mike was strange. As Mike would go out and he would sound like a Cylon. Even he literally sounded like a Cylon. You know? And
ladies and gentlemen, here's the link to the Patreon where you can subscribe to the Bald and Bonkers library and get yourself a free copy of the Micro Penis. For $10.
There's Pete saying there actually Dad had a shrunken head. It's in a jar locked up right now. Oh, that'd be good to see that. Pete, can we get some pictures on the old
Are we sure we should be showing those pictures online?
Well, it's a head. It's not as if it's a micro penis.
Hey, whatever you're into, Chris.
Well, look, Mike could really make me laugh. Honestly, I mentioned Mike a lot. I actually watched one of Mike's videos last night, and what was it called? It was something falls where people have felt their deaths and died, and it was an awfully good show that he did. But I mean, the knowledge that he had, the shrunken heads in a jar. Pete, there you go. There you go. One day, if you keep this up, Dakota, maybe your head will be in a jar one day. You need to be a big one, but it'll be in a jar.
I think didn't we already have somebody do that?
Who?
Shoving us in jars.
I know. I'm immune for the jars. They'll not put me in it. I'm like too much.
Sure.
They don't like you, so you'll end up in the jar.
So I don't care if people don't like me.
Try to get you know.
It's like I'm not self-obsessed enough to make people think that I should be liked.
That's very true.
If you like me, do. If you don't, oh well. Suck it up, princess.
But there's a thing for you, Pete. Now, you believe in the world of the supernatural and stuff like that. Aliens. What would you do, Pete, if aliens took you away and probed you?
Well, considering as I was trying to look up old clips for this show, there was a clip of his father saying he would want to know more about alien sex practices. I'd be very concerned to ask that question.
I will say this, that will go down in infamy is when Mike the Naked Bigfoot, Pete's dad, for everybody in the podcast, and you have to go and watch the show that he did, and it was called Sex and the Paranormal. I will say that I will take that to my grave. It was that funny. What the hell is that?
Wasn't that his most famous video?
One of my Sex and the Paranormal. I mean, oh my God. Don't believe in the extraterrestrials in the practical sense.
All right.
Yeah.
No, we try not to judge here.
No. But it's look, Mike, what was it Mike says to us one night? He said, what was that? CMC saying mad echoes.
Yeah, I noticed.
So is that because we're talking about someone we know, or is that something else?
That makes it well, considering we are streaming through TikTok, and I think that's where part of it is. And someone left us a message saying, "Hello, dear." Hi.
Hello, dear. Is that another one of your wives?
Well, the username is Successful Money Pounds. That doesn't exactly. Yeah, money shot. No.
Oh, that's what you get. That annoys me. I put on TikTok the other day there, and it's all these folks that they've all sitting with big piles of money running about them. Well, honestly, I just don't know what's happening to the human race. That's whether.
Yeah, if you look carefully. Yeah, if you look carefully, you can see that the money's fake. It'll say copy or for film use.
Yeah. And just as you said, there was an echo from far in the darkness of the void.
Go. No.
There's an echo for me. I don't hear an echo. Do you hear an echo with me, guys?
No, it's on my end.
That's what I see. They're getting the mothership above your house now. The wife's getting the old probes looked at. She's shining them up as you speak, and the old Mr. Sheen on them.
Hey, it should go to show that how much of a handful I can be if it's a woman from outer space that wrangles me in.
I'm going to have a bet, guys. He thinks his wife's beautiful and she's got lovely hair, and she's one of them.
Hey, I got more witnesses to testify to my stuff than there is to you.
That's very true, but here's the thing, right? But what happens if that's a psychological thing that they've placed in your head, and everybody else that's came into this, it's a psychological thing that's been placed in your head? What the hell's this?
This is the clip I was thinking about. Because I figured since we don't really have anything, let's BS it. And credit to whoever the original owner of this video is.
But that's one I've seen.
Whoever you are, please step forward, because I would like to ask you some questions. I mean, let's see what I was.
It's fake.
I know. As Dots has said, one of the times he came on the show, the second you hear Hollywood sound effects like that, pretty good odds that it's fake.
Yeah. It's fake. Jesus Christ, you can see the computer animation on it. It's fake.
I mean, it's really well done.
Stupid people in the world that believe this shit. They really do. You get all these stupid people that actually believe this shit. And you get in the same in the paranormal too.
Oh, I know. And we also got to consider, with AI programs being as sophisticated as they are these days, it's going to get worse. You're not gonna know what the hell's real.
I seen one the other day there. Mike would have liked this. And it was a guy saying it was Bigfoot, and he was chasing. I don't know if Pete. I don't know if you've seen this. It was BS. It was that stupid. But the guy actually thought it was. He was walking through the woods and he was getting chased, but he went and shot Bigfoot. You kind of what I'm talking about. And he's like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shoot you. I didn't mean to shoot you."
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Ah, holy shit!
I bet.
Look, the more and more things get advanced, there's got to be more and more shit comes out.
Oh yeah.
It's unstoppable, and especially with the younger generation now. Because let's face it, most of the younger generation are complete idiots. I don't care if you don't like that, guys. I'm not caring anymore. Dad didn't judge. He worked with a lot of
Howling
moonbats.
bats. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing, actually, it's quite weird because Pete put a thing up the other day on Twitter talking about how Pete would go with his dad to meet people and things. And Pete, Mike, remember that story he told us about when he met Ed, Ed, Elaine Warren?
Oh yeah.
You ken that one, Pete? Your dad was telling
Oh
me
yeah.
behind the scenes one night. He says he went to go and meet Elaine Warren, and she was doing like a book signing or something. And he put his horn out to shake her horn, and she looked at him, and he turned her horn back, and she refused to shake your dad's hand, which is actually not very nice, actually. Get what I mean? I think that's actually not very nice. But it just shows you. Did she sense what his abilities were? Because obviously Mike had amazing abilities, especially with the little girl that followed him about.
Yeah. That's an understatement.
You know, it makes you wonder where that little girl is now. She must have like crossed over, or she's went somewhere, because she wasn't a human spirit, once you know she was something else.
Pete, got
You
some
know?
input on this. It's better to come from you, brother.
Yeah. Pete, would you like to say anything?
I was like, this is one of those things. This is one of those things where I think it would be more appropriate if Pete gave his input on this.
There it's there. I'll bring it up. Oh man, Dad seriously disliked the one from
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. You go to remember it. A lot of this stuff's all faked, especially Zach Bagans. I've mentioned the word. Your dad's probably pointing him as we speak. I mean, Zach Bagans is one of the biggest frauds and fakers out there in the paranormal world. And this is today with faking stuff. And the show tonight, Zach Bagans has made a lot of places. What was that? People were going in after the Ghost Adventures, and there'd been weird things painted in the walls that wasn't there. After they'd
There's been a
in.
number of locations that have done that.
Yeah, to make the place look scary.
So I know there's one here in Idaho. It's up in a town called Albion. They do haunted houses every year. The places are legitimately haunted. A lot of the groups locally use it for kind of like training grounds.
Yeah.
But there was this one episode where they came by. They were showing all of like these pentagrams painted, and they're trying to say, "Oh, that's been there for years." The paint's still fucking dripping.
Yeah. There is a lot of fakers out there. There's a lot of people. I know Scottish Hunt goes no Scottish Hunt teams. I mean paranormal teams that I've met on here, and some of them cheat, some of them do it deliberately, just because they want famous, they want to be the next Zach Bagans. I don't care if I've got 5 bloody subscribers. I'm just happy that the fact is that I've managed to wake somebody up to the realness in life. Get what I mean? And it's sad, really, that these folk they say that what they are, but in actual fact is they get people to do stuff for them. You know?
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Dots, I know, I heard it.
Yeah. And then they get people, then they go around about telling the story about how they outed them and stuff like that. But in actual fact, it was all planned. And that is the thing. That Zach Bagans is one of the biggest dicks in the paranormal. Remember that show that Mike the Naked Bigfoot did? Whereas, and he was going on about the paranormal girls.
Oh yeah, the paranormal titties episode. It's gonna be no. God,
What
if I were to
episode
sell
was that?
trans, oh
What
God,
what show was
trans.
that?
We're coming up on 200 episodes, man.
Oh, honestly, Pete, you need to watch the paranormal titties. I mean,
Let's
come
say
on.
Mike alone, he was on at least 13 episodes with us.
Yeah.
I find it kind of funny that it landed on that number, but hey.
Mm-hmm. But it's as but you must admit that was an epic show. You must admit that was epic, that show. I mean, it's just the way he was kidding when he was one of the ladies. He was like, something's touched one of my nipples.
That's
honestly, your dad was awesome.
That's someone we should honestly try to get on the show. It's some of these women who said that they got married to a ghost.
Oh my God.
I would love to have us sit down and chat with these ladies. Just
to
ask, what made them believe. Like that one who said that they had to cancel the wedding because the ghost husband kept disappearing.
How hard would it be to run Mike the Naked Bigfoot's videos with us over the Halloween week?
Well, I don't think my setup as we have it now would be able to do it, but I guess technically we could link it up on the Bonkers TV, so that way it's always streaming.
We could keep Mike stuff constantly streaming, because that would be quite good. Yeah, I mean, because it was an awesome show. That I mean, it was just pissing them off. It was just pissing off. It was so good to watch because he knew what he was talking about.
Oh yeah. Between that and the episode we introduced him to Dave Schrader.
Oh my God! I'll do that to my grave. So, Mike, here is Dave Schrader.
I know.
Are you okay, Mike? Are you okay, Mike?
No, he was good. I'd say he was good that day.
What's this here? Son of the Naked Bigfoot. Yeah, Son of the Naked Bigfoot. There's this month, man.
Oh, Mothman chick. Why do I think I know who he's talking about?
I know who she's talking about too.
I'm about to say we tried to get her on the show, but she stood us up. 3 times, if I recall.
Yeah.
You kept trying to go. It's like, get the hit. She's not interested.
Are we talking about the same person we know, or are we talking about somebody else?
Okay.
We're talking.
Are we talking about the guy we used to actually work with at one point?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Is that who we're talking about?
That's what I was talking about. I was just checking and see if that's who you were talking about.
She's
Though she did, but speaking of her, talking about fakes and UFOs, she did actually ended up pointing something out. She's not shy to hide herself, as we all know. And, that's her choice. I'm just going to leave it at that. But why is it that on Twitter, she could post sexy images of herself, but when she actually goes to show something of a UFO, that's the one that gets taken down?
No. Yes, but Pete. I keep calling you Son of the Naked Bigfoot, but your name's Pete. She ran so many scams for money under so many names.
Yeah, we were technically also involved in introducing Mike to her as well. Because there was that brief period he was under the same banner.
Remember the first show? Remember one of the shows where I met Mike, and I was actually watching it. And remember that day that somebody says to him, "Why did they call you Mike the Naked Bigfoot?" And he stood up for a split second.
Yeah,
remember that? Remember, and they're like, they're covering the camera. And I was buckle. I just couldn't stop laughing. I actually messaged that back to Pete when he put it out. But that was just, honestly, that was
Yeah.
epic show ever. I think we need to do something. We need to do something for Mike the Naked Bigfoot. We need to put like a replay the episodes for him our Halloween, because it was as he told me he loved Halloween, and it was one of his most favorite time. I wonder what it was like, Pete. What was it like when you were growing up as a wee boy with your dad at Halloween? I bet you it was awesome. Honestly, I bet you it was.
And unfortunately, I'm working that night, so there's not much I can do from where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Oh well, see if I can dress up when I go to work.
You could go as Uncle Fester.
I went as Fat Thor the first year I was working that job. Seriously. I had the wig, the beard, sunglasses. Everyone started wanting to take pictures with me.
You know. But I think tomorrow what we need to talk about more is let's talk about some interesting locations tomorrow. Some interesting locations like the pyramids and stuff like that. Let's talk about these subjects. Because there's people out there that think that they're only like 500 years old and all that, and they were built, and they're a lot older than what they say they are.
There's also younger people that are trying to say the USA is 2023 years old.
I've seen that. But you've got to remember these people are idiots.
And unfortunately, the education system continues to fail them.
Honestly, do think that if something's not done very soon, in about 50 years' time, everybody's going to be an idiot. I mean, I'm probably an idiot too, but at least I've no like the younger generation that's running about there because they're idiots. Did you see that video that's come out of America? The two teenagers that stole the car, and they ran over the police, and they ran over the police guy, the retired police officer, and killed him. He was on his bike. Yeah, I mean that's just.
I mean, how about the latest little social media trend? I noticed it on both Instagram and TikTok, where people are just firing off weapons. They're driving along and just firing off their weapons. What the hell?
That's dangerous. A lot of folk don't realize, but that what goes up will come down, and there's actually been people killed with falling bullets
because of that shit.
Yeah,
at least 10 confirmed dead so far. Last time I looked, because of that stupid shit.
But there's people out there you've got to understand too. There's people out there that don't know what they're doing with guns. I mean, I don't think guns are a bad thing, but it's the people that own them that are the bad ones. A gun, if you take a gun and set a gun on a table, that could sit there for the rest of the time and it's not going to kill anybody. It's the person that's holding it that's got to kill you.
Exactly.
Right? If you know what you're doing with a gun, I can like Pete in the chat in there, I can that he's got a couple of firearms, but he's probably got a few because I remember your dad telling me that you had the firearms in the the mountains. You probably need it for Bigfoot and stuff like that.
I was about to say he would never leave the house at night without something on him.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. It's scary. I mean, it's a good thing, but then there's people out there that are just idiots and they shouldn't be allowed them.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, you've probably got one.
I have sold it.
He sold it, so there you go. What's that for Son of the Naked Bigfoot? Dad exposed a lot of fake faith healers here in the South and Midwest back when he travelled. I always had a thing about that. See these fake folk. Oh, I can heal you with the power of the Lord. And they slap them in the face and they fought. You ever watched that? Have you ever watched the mad Christian faith healers? I mean, there's times I've just sat there and just burst out laughing because it's that stupid.
Granted, I will say that it is possible. It can be done for faith healing to actually work.
Mm-hmm.
But a good 99.9% of the ones who claim they can do it don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Look, I was watching a guy and he went. He did what Mike was doing, but he filmed it, and where they would actually put plants, and they would watch them, and they were picking up radio transmissions,
Mm-hmm.
and they could. And the guy came out in the Zimmer, and then he's dancing on the stage and all that. That was Hollywood. It was fake. It was all rigged
Oh
up.
yeah.
Rigged.
Oh yeah. There was this one experiment I saw where this couple, they bought tickets to see a psychic, and what they did beforehand is they thought it was kind of funny that the psychic had, an option to sign up using Facebook. So what they did is they created fake Facebook profiles. They got a bunch of their friends together. They swapped around them all these fake stories.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't actually look at the Facebook profiles before they went to the show. They just said they were just going to agree with whatever the guy said.
Mm-hmm.
Word for word, this guy was ripping off of what he could find on Facebook.
Yeah. And it's true what Dot says, a hammer can build a house or break a bone. It's the intent behind it. Look, a gun, and I'm going to say this is going to piss a few folk off that I know that watched on a show, but I don't care. A gun is a tool. It is. It's a tool. Anything can kill. You could pick up a knife for the next to your plate that you're eating your dinner and kill somebody with that.
Yeah.
Don't do it because you'll end up in jail and that'll be you. A gun is a tool. You could still kill a gun. You could still kill somebody with a gun without having any ammunition in it.
Yeah.
Because you could beat them to death with it. Get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a tool. That's what it is. As the old saying goes, what is it? Guns don't kill people. People do. Because it's true. I will say this, there should be a wee bit more restrictions on who's allowed to own them.
Like an IQ test.
Aye. Aye. If you can put the square into the square or the circle into the circle, you can get a gun or whatever, get what I mean? But there is, what's the age limit in the United States for a gun?
18 for like rifles, 21 for pistols.
So why have I seen like 14-year-olds with like Uzis and that?
Their parents getting affiliation.
No. But I've seen like gun stuff, and it's remember a kid dropped her gun. It was an Uzi, and it sprayed and it killed the instructor. Remember there was a case with that.
No, they can still get access to it. I mean, the training around gun ranges, stuff like that, they can still do it. Usually, if they have a parent consent, they can play with some real exotic stuff.
No, it's like, as I say, and I don't particularly care what folks say anymore because I'm past that. Guns are a handy tool. They're tools, right? It's whoever uses them that are the ones responsible, right? I do think there is people out there that use them wrong, There's people out there that buy them illegally, which you shouldn't do. There's people out there that make their own ammunition. I've got a friend on Facebook, and he's in America. He makes his own ammunition. It's actually quite interesting to watch. It's actually really, really, you've got to get it right. You've got to get it right because
you can't even sneeze around that shit.
Aye, you that's what he says to me about it, because he does wee videos and he sends them to me, and it's actually quite interesting how, because they've got to get it right, because if they get that off, if they put too much powder in that one round, the gun could explode and kill you. And he lives in the kind of sticks, and he needs it. He owns a farm, and is it Montana somewhere, and he needs it to kill wildlife and stuff like that. That's like predators and stuff like that.
Yeah, especially where the wolf population is starting to make its way back down to Montana.
But when it comes to like the gang warfare, I don't know how you would be able to stop that.
Yeah, putting more legal restrictions on weapons that are being obtained illegally. Like that's actually going to work.
Aye, but that's the problem with weapons. You'll always be able to get an illegal firearm.
You can 3D print guns these days, Chris.
I see. I know. I've heard about that. I've seen that. I've seen them getting done.
It's like most. And most manufacturers, they have default settings, but you can go onto the internet and find open source software to get rid of those blocks.
Yeah.
And in fact, here's the thing: there may be age restrictions. Say like, yeah, it need to be 21 in order to get a pistol. But those age restrictions don't exactly exist for getting the gun parts.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this about guns. I know someone that lives in the United States, and he was telling me he went to a farmer's meat thing, and this is like in the hills of, like, I'm not telling you where it is, but he told us where it was, and it was like a bring and buy thing where all the hillbilly kind of folk like sell their stuff. And he was walking along, and he came across a stall, and all they were selling was guns.
Yeah.
Guns. And they were going ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
And they didn't even ask him any identification or nothing. He bought a couple. And he didn't ask him any identification or nothing.
Yeah.
And that just shows you how many is available out there. How many of them are available. And you'll never get rid of them because you can make them. Because there's so many of them.
Oh yeah, there's another thing people hadn't really need to consider when it comes to guns. A lot of the ones that are being accessed are ones simply left behind by militaries because it's cheaper to just make new guns than to clean up their mess and bring all the guns back home that they already have.
Yeah. And it's madness, you know. But anyway, we'll continue this talk tomorrow. We'll talk about we should actually do a talk one night about gun control and stuff like that, because it's actually quite an interesting. So it's a subject that we've not really went into. It's something that a lot more people should look into. But I will say this: be very careful out there, guys, in America and stuff like that, where there is guns. Don't buy an illegal
careful
gun.
over in the UK, where you're still more likely to get stabbed.
You're more likely to be stabbed. But over here, you're not allowed a knife. It's under 2 inches or 3 inches. You're allowed a knife. But do you know there was somebody near me one day? This is actually happening. For you Americans in the chat, you'll be like, "Oh my god, how did that happen?" There was a guy near me. He was a painter and decorator, right? And he was sitting in his van, and he had a Stanley knife blade. And you know how the bristles go hard.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just taking the paint off the end, and a police car pulled up behind him, and they done him for having a dangerous weapon in his hand. That's how mad my country's went.
And here's the thing, people are probably asking, well, what the heck does this have to do with faking and stuff like that? The main message behind all of this is, if you're going to do something, know what the hell you're doing. Whether it's dealing with the paranormal, weapons, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest threat out there is ignorance.
Yeah. There's Pete there saying that his dad carried a gun and a knife everywhere he went. Well, let's look at Mike the Naked Bigfoot. He was going out looking for strange creatures in the middle of nowhere and doing like wee mad crazy roads to talk to folk like the Skinner Man and all that kind of stuff. He needed that kind of stuff for protection. Mm-hmm. He didn't know he was going to run into. You know what I mean? But honestly, well, hopefully we can put out like some Mike the Naked Bigfoot videos soon, guys, because it is coming up to Halloween, and that was his kind of Pete that was his favorite time of the year, wasn't it? Halloween. I'm sure he said that a few times to us.
He did.
Aye, and we should really do something for Halloween for him, because that'll be 1 year since his passing. Can't believe he's been gone for a year. I honestly can't, and I am still shocked. It's took me a few months to start watching his videos again.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody for coming, thank you very much for coming. Pete, thank you for coming, bud. And right, say it before we go.
Oh, I was just say, be sure to check out those links in the description to check out all the stuff. Subscribe to the Patreon page so you can get backstage access to all of our stuff. And if you think you got a story to tell that you want to come on the Bald and Bonkers Show, come on up, because Chris and I can only BS so much.
Yep. We're bald and we're bonkers. Yeah.
So
Are you the bonkers one, and I'm just the bald one.
hey, at least with bonkers, it insinuates intelligence.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of folk out there that have got the intelligence at all, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a fantastic night, and may you be visited in the night by aliens with big, shiny probes.
Of course, you would enjoy that.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you see Bald and Bonkers for even more insanity. Be sure to spread the love to the Bald and Bonkers Boys' other endeavors. And a special thank you to our audience, guests, and everyone else who helps make this crazy ride happen. Amazing things are ahead. Learn more by visiting www.baldandbonkers.net. See you next time. Much love and take care.